And in this corner, nerds!
And I'm going to talk about me, myself, and my problems here for a little while.
The Rule 34 questions were last week.
That's not a puzzle, it's pushing blocks.
I will accept confidently sounded episode numbers and issue numbers as actual evidence.
But I want to hear about your other shitty characters.
Of course, invest in a robotic Flavor Flav.
This is the Debate This podcast.
Welcome to Debate This, the show where no one is right, but someone is definitely wrong. My name is Andrew Henderson, and I'll be your moderator for this week. Today, we're talking about best friends. Being a superhero is a lonely and often thankless job. That's why it's so important to have a buddy that you can trust to always have your back. Unfortunately, all I've got are the other assholes in this podcast. With me today are Todd, Ants Marching Thomas, Matt, Hacky Sack Cole, and Kyle, Shirts or Skins Harper. And they're going to talk about who they think is the all-time greatest comic book hero team up. I hate you guys. All right, assholes, start your talk.
All right, I guess I'm first in the thing, so I guess that means I go first. So we're talking team-ups this week. And let me tell you, nothing says strong team-ups like latex bodysuits, skin irritants, killer clowns, and enormous amounts of sexual tension.
I'm already excited.
That's why the voluptuous ladies behind every 12-year-old nerd's wet fantasies embody partnership. There's never been a better pair than Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. You know what's lonelier than being a superhero? Being a supervillain. And these two women have captured everyone whose name starts with Bat, foiled the Joker on more than one occasion, and this team-up even has their own published miniseries.
All right, thanks, Matt. Very exciting. Kyle, what have you got?
Well, Andrew, I've got an expatriate from the former Soviet Union and a Canadian with a drinking problem. That's right, this week I am going to talk about Colossus and Wolverine. They've both been through some hard times. They're both not native to America, and they bond, and together they bond through that. They fight world-ending threats on a weekly basis, have each other's backs, both have a shared love of drinking, and the best combo move in the history of ever, the Cannonball Special.
Ooh, I love the Cannonball Special. So we've got Awesome Buddy Cop, and we've got Femme Fatales. So Todd, who are you bringing to the table?
Well, the obvious choice to choose after those two, when we talk about partnerships, we need to talk about teamwork. We need to talk about purpose. And what better pair of bros can we look at as paragons of teamwork and purpose than the OG Captain America and the man who ultimately took on his title in his absence, the Falcon Sam Wilson. Their bromance dates back to the 70s with the series Captain America and the Falcon. Their bromance, it's existed for over 4 decades, and even when Steve Rogers passed on his title, he let Sam keep his shield when he returned. When we talk about teams, we talk about the greatest team and the greatest purpose. And you know what the greatest purpose is, Andrew?
I don't.
It's America. And if you're against America, then the terrorists win.
Is that the team or the purpose?
Yes.
That is the perfect American answer. Good job, Todd. All right, guys. So we're going to go through 4 questions today. The first 3 you have seen before, and the 4th is our super secret bonus question. Now, to start it off, let's talk about flaws. Every superhero has his or own weakness, but a good team covers each other's weaknesses. So how does your pair cover each other's flaws?
So it's been said more than once that Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy are the best combo that DC Comics has ever seen, which understandably it's DC Comics, so that's an inordinately low bar, but still, Harley and Ivy are above everybody else, and it's because they play off each other's weaknesses so well. Harley Quinn's biggest weakness definitely has to be the Joker. He does nothing but bring her down. He'll, shove her into different occasions while he needs her, and then as soon as he decides he doesn't need her anymore, he throws her to the wind, and it drives her crazy. It causes her to make rash decisions, and Poison Ivy is always there to pull her back and make sure that her head stays in the game. Poison Ivy, on the other hand, often takes things way too close to heart. She often overplans things, and sometimes gets herself in trouble because she's too careful. Harley Quinn throws caution to the wind and brings the team to wherever they need to be to accomplish whatever needs to be accomplished. Period.
All right, well said. Kyle, what about the Cannonball Special? What are their weaknesses?
You know what's the best weakness to have, Andrew? no weaknesses. No, no weaknesses. I've got a immortal, ever-healing, tiny Canadian and a giant, super strong, impervious metal man. There's no problem that they can't punch their way out of. They've got each other's backs, and when the going gets tough, they just toughen up and keep going. They've both come back from the dead multiple times. They're both play by their own rules. Don't stick too closely to the team dynamic, but they've got each other's backs. And any problem that's too hard for them to punch, they just punch harder.
Except metal detectors and large magnets.
Yeah. I gotta get in on this real quick. So, no, how do they fight off rust? Question from the audience.
Kyle, that's an interesting question. What would you like to say to that?
Is their arch nemesis Rust also Magneto?
Colossus, they both have taken on Magneto multiple times.
How'd it go for Wolverine?
Colossus has fought Magneto's metal powers to punch him square in the face on more than one occasion, and Wolverine, when he was hindered by his adamantium skeleton, he just ditched the thing and went feral and cut him up.
That went really well.
That still doesn't answer the rust question, and I'm really invested in the rust question.
Organic metal and adamantium don't rust.
All right. So we've heard from Kyle and Matt. So Todd, how do you answer the question on weaknesses? Tell us more about the Captain's America.
So the Captain's America, or as I would call them, Captain Falcon. You know, when we talk about weaknesses, caring too much, trying too hard, wanting to win for all the people that can't win for themselves. I mean, yeah, okay, they've got lots of weaknesses that they cover. But I think in all reality, if we're trying to have a serious answer, the way they cover each other is that, you know, they're both soldiers of war. I mean, I think that Sam Wilson brings a much, you know, less experienced, obviously, because Captain America comes back from, you know, World War II. You know, Captain America gets to balance out Sam Wilson. He gets to kind of mentor him and lead him. And in that same way, I think that Sam Wilson gets to balance out Captain America, or Steve Rogers in this case, where he says, you know, hey, like, things aren't the same. Like, here, we're in the year 2000, whatever, when the last series that they were in launched together. They balance each other. I think that Sam Wilson keeps Captain America, or Steve Rogers, grounded, and Steve Rogers gets to be like that mentor and leader, you know?
Wait, so no, stop.
How are they at dealing at the crippling wealth inequality brought on by the inherent flaws of capitalism?
You know what? That's not my question. My question is how the Falcon keeps somebody grounded.
Yes.
Seconded.
Same answer from my opening statement. The answer is yes. You know, I don't know, Kyle, but I see what you're trying to do here by bringing in, you know, two non-natives to this land into this argument to try and argue that what they have is better. I think that this is slowly turning into a propaganda for communism here.
Are you arguing that America isn't a melting pot, Todd, and we shouldn't welcome immigrants into our country?
Oh, it's certainly a melting pot, and I don't like what you're trying to suggest here. Captain America and Sam Wilson, the Captain Falcon, fight for all people.
All right. So long story short, Todd is going to stick to his guns here, like a true American. Very much appreciated. All right, let's move to the next question. Let's talk conflict resolution. Working together for days on end, such close quarters, can make anyone feel on edge. What do your heroes do to avoid, sometimes literally, tearing each other's heads off?
Each other. Next question.
Oh God! I figured we'd at least get to like the super secret
12-year-old Matt answer.
Oh God!
It's canon now. As of 2017, it's canon.
He's not wrong.
You know what? It was confirmed by the writers of the Harley Quinn series. I quote, on June 12th, 2015, yes, they are girlfriends without the jealousy of monogamy. And that is from the writers of the Harley Quinn series, Jimmy Palmiotti, and Amanda Connor.
Today, Junior.
Straight from his erect dick.
And then
I don't know enough about the Harley Quinn and Ivy series, but he said those issue numbers pretty confidently.
Yeah, we're still,
he knows what he's talking
there.
about.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Matt, do you actually have an argument, or are you just gonna
No, I mean that's
gross.
like very seriously
Sure.
my argument is that they have developed one of the most intimate relationships in the DC universe, and it has honestly not been based entirely around sex. They only had their first canonical main universe kiss in 2017. Before that, it was predominantly speculation and little kind of tension-based clips from book to book and from animated
And the
series
30-page
to animated
fan
series.
fiction Matt writes in his spare time.
And that, but that's not canon, so we're not going to bring that up.
Sure.
They have developed this intimate relationship that bases all around working through problems with each other. They've often said that each other is their greatest weakness, or excuse me, their greatest strength. They are able to process through not only victories, but defeats together. They live in a clubhouse together. They work together on all of their problems. They spend their time together because they are not only everybody's sexual fantasy, they are also good friends, and good friends don't hate each other.
Wow, Matt, you took something kind of gross and made it kind of sweet.
Thanks.
This episode is brought to you by the Rule 34 combination of what's her name, Uma Thurman and Margot Robbie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, all right, Kyle. Let's please change topics.
So the way Wolverine and Colossus deal with their problems, work out their stress is the same way millions of Americans work out their stress every day. They go home and drink. They're both from proud countries known for their love of alcohol, and they both drown their sorrows in the devil's poison. And when that doesn't work and things get really hard for them, they both have a tendency to fuck right off and spend a few months wandering the countryside. So between the great outdoors and a few drinks every night, they tend to stay off of each other's throats and fighting crime.
So what you're saying is Wolverine is essentially Marvel's own Jack Kerouac.
Yes, absolutely.
Love it.
I just love that the answer is drinking in the woods alone. Next question. Like, man, like, but like it's real. Like that certainly happened.
Yeah, you
I
guys
have
had
to
a
say,
problem
Todd,
with
that was. Go ahead.
No,
ahead.
you guys had a problem with the romance between my two characters, and you're turning to alcoholism
You know,
as a better
no,
solution.
you know what? Let's talk about that because I didn't have an issue. If put in a vacuum, your answer to our second question, not an issue. Would have totally understood it. But you opened up with what says team ups better than latex bodysuits, and that's where when you look at the whole picture, things get a little latexy.
Captain America and the Falcon both wear latex bodysuits.
Yeah, well, so one, I didn't bring that into my argument. Those aren't the legs I stand on. Two, Sam Wilson's outfit is like metal and like electronic wings in the cartoons.
That's pretty kinky. It's not the same-sex relationship we had an issue with, Matt. It was the objectification of it.
Oh, come on.
I would say that you got a running start, but it's too on the nose because some of those bodysuits you'd have to get a running start into. So, well, hey, okay, so let's talk. So we're
right,
talking about
yep.
conflict in close quarters. My guys are both soldiers of fortune. Like they've lived it. I mean, all of their backstory is literally like, we are soldiers. We've been in the shit. We deal with this sort of stuff. So I mean, for them, I mean, they're so weathered by the storm that I don't think it's a big deal. And so let's say worst comes to worst and that the two of them are, you know, on edge. I think one, they're both pretty level-headed dudes. And I mean, to me, I feel since they play the at least Steve Rogers sometimes plays too much of like a choir boy in the Marvel universe. I think he would want to like talk it out or brood alone for a little bit and then be fine. But I don't think this is even a thing for them because they've been so truly weathered by the storm. I would say the same probably stands for Wandering in the Woods Drunken Wolverine as well. I mean, since his canon is also I've been in every war ever, I think it would just take a lot to make them go on edge. So I don't think this is totally applicable overall. Their bromance transcends minor annoyances.
Got it. So Team America, your response to both questions has been, what's your weakness? There is none.
No, well,
What's your conflict? There is none.
Well, I would say that we're
Perfect.
following the trend of like
All right,
America
so we're
as
going
a
to
whole.
question 3. And I can see on our show notes there is some lovely artwork. Oh, it's Colossus, and he's got a leopard skin little
A
speedo there.
latex
Oh, that's nice.
bodysuit, I see.
No,
No.
not.
Isn't he
that's-
just metal? Isn't that
that's
just like
all,
him?
That's all man.
That's all him.
So wait, is his hairline metal too? Like I'm so his clothes are metal. Wait,
Yes.
can we derail the rest of this and talk about how this works? Is he Vision? Only Vision like creates and molds his body to be different things, and this guy just has multicolored layers of metal that pop out of his skin?
If I'm remembering the the Ultimate Marvel Universe wiki or encyclopedia I had from the 90s, it is every organic part of Colossus becomes organic metal when he transforms. And don't ask about the properties of organic metal, because they do whatever they need to for the comic to work.
Because plot.
Because comic book logic.
That was a really good subtle Google there.
No, that was pulled from my brain.
That was
cap.
from your brain space. Very,
From the noggin.
very impressive, my friend.
right.
Okay.
here.
All right. Let's move on to the next question. So we've talked a lot about how they fight. We've talked a lot about how they work together. But let's talk about outside of work. Obviously, there's going to be some downtime in between all of these crime sprees and evil plots. So once the fighting is over, what does your team do to blow off some steam, chill out?
You know what? I'm going to give you a wholesome answer because you have requested it so many times from me. Did you know that Poison Ivy never went on vacation until she met Harley Quinn? Never once.
I did not.
She never went on vacation. She never left the city of Gotham until she met Harley Quinn. And then they took a week off and went to the Bahamas. And they had a great week. Not only was there no crime, they didn't hurt anybody. They didn't do anything crazy. They just went on vacation. And now, canonically, kinda, depending on, which miniseries you consider to be part of the main universe,
Depending on which of Matt's fan fictions you read.
Depending on which latex bodysuit we're wearing today.
I define the term miniseries very loosely. They go on vacation.
Unlike the bodysuits, very loosely.
You can have a loose latex bodysuit that defies
Oh
the
god,
properties.
that was my
That's
ska
how it
band in
works.
high school.
I don't think organic metal can be loose either. I think that everything we're working with here has to be tight.
Oh, it's nice and
It is
taut.
it's his body. His body is the organic metal. I don't see what the problem is here.
So to answer your question, Andrew, they go on
I would
vacation.
love that.
They go on vacation, they relax, they don't cause any mischief on vacation. They go to the beach, they go to the mountains, they spend time together, they sightsee. They're really good at stress management, honestly.
A little couples massage, one thing leads
See,
to
now
another.
you're making
have
it
an-
weird. I
do
didn't
you
do
have an-
this. I didn't do
Kyle and I are
this.
the only one with clean hands at the end of this.
Matt, I have a serious question for you.
Please.
Can you cite an issue number, a comic and issue number for their vacation?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I refuse to believe you and your entire argument.
I have to pull it back up. 'cause I
Kyle, I'm
closed
gonna
that
have to
tab.
stop you. That rebuttal is inadmissible. Unlike you, I will accept completely pulled out of their ass statements. So,
See, and
Matt,
Kyle, I thought you were going a very
Sustained.
different direction. I thought you were going to say, can you cite when their romance first started for the audience for science purposes? And I'm thrilled you didn't go that way. However, I'm
Yeah,
still stuck
get
with
your mind out of the gutter, Todd.
Well, I'm still stuck with the quote loose bodysuit, and I don't know how to deal with that.
For our listeners, Todd is like in the fetal position, rocking back and forth right now.
he's gonna cry for a while after
A
this.
single tear rolling down his cheek.
I have the
That's
comic
not
book
good.
panel, and I don't know what issue it's from. Now it's gonna
All
bother
right. Well,
me.
while Matt searches furiously for canon that doesn't exist, Kyle, please change the subject.
I've already answered it in my last question. When Wolverine and Colossus need to blow off steam, they take their own sort of working vacations, and just roam around the countryside, breaking up small fights. Wolverine really likes to get into secret fight clubs in bars in the middle of nowhere, and Colossus likes to go back to Russia and repair repair the mishaps of a failed communist country. So they both turned to community service and exercise to blow off steam.
Oh, very impressive.
I really imagine that you would have said one of them, either one of them, or both of them wrestle bears. That just felt right.
That too.
It's Harley Quinn Volume 3, Number 8. Just to put that out there.
Great.
Oh, Jesus.
Kyle, please continue.
And chapter 7 of Matt's fan fiction.
Chapter 4.
Okay, no. So while these guys, the four of your people are talking about going on vacations and trying to repair a broken communist system, so when all the bad guys are in jail and the dust has settled, Captain America, as in Steve Rogers, or Captain America, as in Sam Wilson, I don't think they can just lay back and put their feet up. They're not those type of guys. They're the kind of people that they're still looking for rights to wrong. They're the kind of guys that would volunteer at a local AMVETS. They would serve, a nice community dinner at your American Legion. They would volunteer at an orphanage. I also feel like they're the kind of guys that would put together model planes. I can see that happening. However, I think that their biggest thing that they would do in their downtime to blow off steam would be find more Nazis and punch more Nazis in the face. I don't think we can ever not have enough face-punch Nazis, and Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson are the two that are going to always be punching Nazis in the face. So, no beach vacations here for these two guys, because a soldier's work is never done because they care about America more than they care about beach vacations.
Hey, my guys go out and help the little man, help the working class heroes, Todd.
By wrestling
Punching
bears?
Nazis is great, but we have a lot of issues in this country, and not all of them can be solved by punching Nazis.
Oh, but most of them can be. I'm taking, if Matt's rallying cry is loose bodysuits, mine is punch Nazi faces. So choose your side.
My two girls are super villains, and you're telling me it's bad when villains take vacations. So you are claiming that my two should take less vacations so they can cause more trouble.
The premise of this question alone means that your two are in jail.
Not necessarily if they're in the Bahamas on vacation.
It's a really nice jail.
They head to a tax haven and clean up all their money once a year.
So that's what it is.
What I'm hearing.
Siphoning
More
funds out of the
supervillainy.
American pocket.
All right, so interesting responses, boys. So we've got one more question here. This is your super secret bonus question. So we've been talking a lot. A lot of the questions that I've been asking are some that you would find in a job interview. So that's what we're going to really double down on. Let's talk job market. Obviously, the job market it's pretty slim pickings out there. The economy is not great, not too great for those looking for new careers. Being a superhero doesn't necessarily pay the bills like it used to. With your Tony Starks out there taking all the taking out all the resources.
With your Ultrons being Ultrons.
With your Ultrons and other comic book words.
With the Tonys and the Ultrons.
I thought the whole point of the Sokovia Accords was that they would get paid and be and answer to somebody.
I don't know what those words
think
are.
it's a
So we're
better
gonna
time to be a
Bureaucracy.
superhero than ever.
All right. So the question is, so help me understand what your team's Monster.com profile looks like, and walk me through how they nail that final interview. Matt, we'll start with you.
I've never even been on Monster.com. What is this? I don't even know what that's supposed to
go
look
with
like in the
LinkedIn.
real world.
What is your LinkedIn premium account look like?
I forgot
right now?
you're 17 and you've never held an actual job. Okay.
We're gonna do this. Those you put your skills at the top of your resume. We're gonna go for some bullet point skills here. We're gonna strong-willed, sly, creative, dedicated, loose bodysuits.
Is dedicated spelled dead? Dedicated because they're bad people.
Yeah, probably.
Ooh.
cool accents for both characters. I mean, there's a lot.
That's fair.
There, you know, even diversity-wise.
In the professional world, we call that
Exactly.
bilingual.
Yeah.
And
you
and
don't.
worst case scenario, they both can work at Hot Topic.
That is true, yes. But actually, you know what? Thank you very much. Both of these women have doctorate degrees. One is a psychologist. One is a botanist. They were, at one point, two of the most respected scientific people in the Gotham community. So I'm not so concerned about their job opportunity in the future. I think if they want something, they can find it.
I'm pretty sure once you commit felonies, you lose your license to practice medicine, though. I'm pretty sure that
Well,
happens.
but no, you're missing the point, though, because even if they lose their license to practice medicine, I want to go back to that Hot Topic point, because the thing is, if they're getting royalties on the shit being sold at Hot Topic, out of all 6 of our characters, those 2 are getting at least 50% of the sales
Oh,
alone.
that's definitely true.
So, oh yeah, there's so much Harley Quinn like t-shirts. I mean, Captain America might have some market there, but oh no. Our 4 barely make up their cuts. So they're, even without their degrees in full effect, they're probably doing all right.
So, and you know what? I think nailing the final interview, one's got a hammer and one's got poison ivy bombs, and I don't think anyone would say no to those 2 knocking at their door.
So murder.
So we're
At the
doubling
worst
down on the
case
whole
scenario,
felon murder thing.
You know,
Yeah, sure.
and they often don't choose to kill people. They prefer to capture and enslave by poison ivy's.
slavery is so much better.
Poison
yeah.
ivy's mind control toxins. So, I think that they're gonna nail that interview. They're gonna nail that interview 10 times out of 10.
Fair enough. All right, Kyle, what do you got?
I think Colossus and Wolverine have a wide range of skills. They certainly make do every time they go into their deep depressions and fuck off into the countryside. But I think if they gave up superheroing for good and wanted to make the most money, they would have an amazing career as a tag team pro wrestling duo. You know, the Cannonball Special is tailor-made for the WWE. Give the fans what they want. They would be the best pro wrestling team since I don't know pro wrestling.
Since what?
I don't know pro wrestling well enough to finish this reference.
Since the one wrestler and the other wrestler teamed up and did wrestling together.
Since the Undertaker did the high dive off I can't even remember the
Are you
name.
gonna do
God.
that? Are you gonna do Mankind in Hell in a Cell in 1984?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, their best usage is a metal man throwing a man who's full of metal at normal human beings and absolutely killing them instantly.
for the delight and entertainment of millions, Todd.
So we're back to murder again. So we've got 1
I
vote
don't
for
know,
murder and 2 votes
Todd.
for staged murder.
Todd, I don't know if you know this. Pro wrestling isn't real. They pull their punches a lot, and a lot of fight choreography is involved. So while it would be actually very dangerous for real humans to fight them in the ring, I think we're fine in this case.
You're really alienating part of our base by calling pro wrestling fake.
I have not met a pro wrestling fan who doesn't wink, wink, nudge, nudge their wrestling is real argument.
And you're saying this as we're coming off the weekend of WrestleMania.
Absolutely.
You're just insulting everything they care about.
Yep.
Well, okay, so we're talking job interviews. So here's what I'm going to say. So right away...
Is it that they don't need jobs?
Because America... No, that's not true. The unemployment rate in America is no joke, and we need to address that. And I'll tell you... It is even much less of a joke in our veteran population. And so when we talk about Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson, not only are they incredibly capable, upstanding, and forthright human beings, they're veterans. And I think what's great about getting them hired back into the workforce is since the Jobs for Veterans Act in 2002, there's been support for... I'm gonna get through this. Since the Jobs for Veterans Act initiated in 2002, there's been a greater push to hire.
If somebody does not edit in some sort of march there, we've sorely missed him.
The point I'm
Our
making
listeners
is
at home,
that
a flag is waving behind Todd right
Yeah,
now.
absolutely.
He doesn't know where it came from, and we don't know where it came from, but it's there.
the point
and it's majestic.
the point is that there are so many resources backing veterans entering our workforce, whether it's the Hire Vets First website or the Career One Stop portal that exists for veterans being hired, or like I said, the Jobs for Veterans Act of 2002. Every major application you fill out now will ask if you have served or are serving in the armed forces. So the reality is our veterans are bringing these fantastic, life applicable skills back into the market. So all they really need to do is talk about their relatable skills and how it can help them get ahead in that position, and just really not mess it up by like flipping a table or like Sam Wilson extending his big old falcon wings. And I
Do you
think
think he would bring the wings to an interview?
Oh,
Todd?
he would absolutely bring the wings. Captain America's totally carrying his shield to the interview. Like, okay, so let's face it. I love Steve Rogers as a character, but he's like a stocky blonde, white dude. If he's not carrying that shield to the interview, they're just like, oh yeah, you're a guy. But if he carries the shield, they're like, oh shit, you're that guy.
At risk of hurting my case, they are both very high-ranking military officers, which are highly employable.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, and let's do this. I mean, I think the average service of an active duty man is like 20 years. I think 20. It's less than 30. Captain America, he's technically been serving since World War II. His retirement package is like nothing we'd ever know. He doesn't need a job.
He's making more on his pension than I'll ever see in my life.
Yeah, so if anything, if he's going back into the workforce, he's doing it to help others. He's probably donating his salary. So, I don't know, he's probably helping other veterans get jobs. That's what he's doing in his job interview. They're helping other veterans get that job. That's what that is.
What do the wings do then?
They're there because.
He flies veterans to their
Job interview. I mean, so it's off topic, but
then taking all the jobs from the public works and the public transportation division.
Yeah,
Are
Todd.
you? Wait,
Thus
are you
refeeding
trying
the
to make
machine.
veterans the bad guy? Are you trying to
No.
make veterans
saying-
and like
I'm just
Joe
looking-
Everyman be against
I am
each other?
looking at this from all sides.
If Sam Wilson is flying a veteran to his job interview, that is an Uber driver or bus driver who is not getting that fare, Todd. And
so
I don't.
thanks a
wanna live in
lot,
that
America.
I mean, I don't know where else to go with that other than they're getting theirs. So
All right. Well, this has been a lot to think about. I have tons and tons of baseless accusations to weigh. So while I'm deciding a victor, why don't you guys go around and say something nice about each other's arguments?
I can't say anything nice about.
You can and you will.
I do want to. I want to give like real props to Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy for being like they are actually written as a like tasteful same-sex open couple in the comics. There is from what I've seen that small amount of 13-year-old spank bank material printed in DC Comics, but for the most part it's like a real couple dealing with their shared mental issues and problems, and it's a good thing. More representation.
Thank you. And it appears we're skipping closing statements here, so I'm going to make my closing statement anyway.
Nope, it's skipped. Get out of
Yeah, I
here.
mean, you do what you want to do.
As much as, kind of like Kyle said, as much as people rag on Harley and Ivy for being like every 14-year-old kid's fantasy, they've sort of been praised recently as like a bastion against sexual abuse because of Poison Ivy's constant attempts to pull Harley Quinn away from the Joker and a lot of things in that relationship and all that.
I'm pretty sure they had a run. They had, or at least an issue, but maybe a short run where they just went around like beating up domestic abusers. Like, I'm pretty sure that was an issue of one of their
Yeah,
times.
absolutely. I don't know. I wanted to put that out there, that my whole My whole argument was not based around sexualization. While some of it may have been, it was not all of it by any means.
I would lie to say part of it was not. But my heart was 85% in the right place.
But that being said, no, the Cannonball special has been one of my favorites since like the X-Men animated. I mean, come on, like Colossus throwing Wolverine through things will never get boring to watch, ever. And then I love Captain America. I love Falcon. I love the Avengers. I think that Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy may honestly be the only two DC characters I care about. So anybody Marvel is pretty cool in my book. I struggle to talk shit on Marvel heroes.
Yeah, I would, I don't have a whole lot of love for many of the DC characters in general, but I always thought Poison Ivy was really, really neat, and I didn't like Harley's relationship with the Joker, and so that always just kind of turned me off to it, because I didn't really care for the Joker at all, and then obviously like their whole situation was pretty toxic. So hearing you bring to light like some of the new development that has happened there is pretty exciting, and I give like them and you like a lot of credit for you for bringing that up and them for doing that. Like, good on DC for making that a thread that we get to pull on, because we need more of that. And I mean, even just in the past few years, we've started having more prominent women in superhero, comics or graphic novels and movies. And so knowing that there's hope in the DC universe as well, because I was really pissed in Justice League when they cut away from Wonder Woman just to show Lois Lane drowning. That pissed me off. So hearing that they may not be always abiding by just that is refreshing. And yeah, man, everything Matt said about Cannonball Special, like, that's just... So, was Colossus the first to throw Wolverine? Do we know that?
I haven't done any research on the topic, so I'm gonna say yes.
Okay, so we'll if he wasn't the first, I think he's definitely one of the most well known.
He's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's definitely been like their special move in all the like X-Men Legends, Marvel Ultimate Alliance
and if you think, like, I know Hulk's thrown him, and I know that She-Hulk has thrown him, but I mean, right. I think that it started. If it didn't start, it's at least like it's
attributed.
Yeah,
to
it's
them.
Colossus's.
In the movies, it's always only Colossus ever throws him in the movies. It's never shared by anyone else. It
may actually be one of the only things that X-Men movies got right.
Well, and that's, I've never really loved Wolverine all that much, and so it's hard for me to give him too much. But I've always liked Colossus. I thought Colossus was just like super cool. Even going back to like the old X-Men side-scrolling arcade game, when you use his special power and you go, "Aah!" and like that was just super cool.
What was that, Todd?
Nope, that's you get it one time and one time only. It's a podcast. They can rewind it if they want to hear it again.
I edit this show. They'll get it as many times as I can.
We can sample that in post.
Everyone's nickname is just that noise.
All right, guys, real quick. Since you guys didn't do your closing statements, Kyle and Todd, why don't you quickly close us out on your remaining thoughts on your arguments?
I'm gonna reiterate what I said earlier. There's no problem that you can't punch your way out of if you punch hard enough, and an immortal 5'3" with man with metal claws and an impervious 6'8" Russian can punch their way out of most problems, and that's all I need to say on the issue.
Yeah, so I think if there's been one grouping of people that have proven time and time again that all problems can be solved by punching, it's America. And so I'm here to tell you how my bromance embodies at least the good aspects of America. And so with that, voting for these two as the prime bromance of the comic universe means that you're supporting everything good and just with bromances. A pure desire to help, a genuine, compassion of those who need defending and assistance. And, when you get behind the idea of Captain America Steve Rogers and, Captain America Sam Wilson, you always know that you'll have somebody on your left.
Now that we're back on the hate train, I also want to point out at least Matt and I didn't insult your intelligence by trying to pander to your patriotic side.
I do appreciate that, guys. And I appreciate you guys trying to pander me by saying you're not pandering to me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
This has gotten too many layers.
All right. So we've heard from your arguments. So now it's time for the decision. Matt, first off, I really like the idea of a sweet and caring same-sex relationship. I would say DC definitely wins for exploring that idea, and it sounds interesting. But unfortunately, your argument loses because your argument is that they're basically just going to solve all their problems with boobs and their supervillain powers.
And
You
loose
basically are
bodysuits.
telling me that they're horny terrorists.
I'm offended by your remarks, and I'm gonna choose not to comment on them.
All right, that's fair. Kyle, Wolverine and Colossus sound like an awesome, like hard-drinking, fast-talking buddy cop team. Unfortunately, as awesome as that would be to watch in a serial, they kind of sound like a bit of a train wreck, just barreling towards inevitable disaster.
I'm just disappointed that you fail to see the plight of the working man.
I hate to admit it, and Todd, I hate your argument, but god damn it, I'm going to defend your right to give it. And because this is an audio format, nobody can see that Todd's got his Captain America shield and is literally going crazy.
It's movie quality.
Listen, here's why Todd won, guys. Todd did the unthinkable, and despite the fact of not answering any of my questions,
Not a one.
he took all of his weaknesses and turned them into strengths, which is exactly what
With the most tired method of saying his weaknesses are strengths.
which is exactly
I'm
what an
so
American would
upset
do
right now.
And that's why Todd wins this episode of Debate This.
Like you've never watched the episode of The Office when they're like, well, Michael, what are your biggest weaknesses? And he's like, well, I care too much. I try too hard. Everyone watches that and loves it. So
You know the joke is Michael is terrible, right?
All right,
It's
guys. We've had a lot of fun. Todd, you have 5 seconds to be smug, and then that's it.
Oh,
That's all you
I'm
get.
bottling the smugness, and I'm gonna sleep with it tonight.
All right, guys.
Gross.
Well, that's going to do it for us this week. Thanks for listening in to Debate This. Follow along with our argument on Twitter and Facebook at Debate This Cast, and let us know what you think. I'm Andrew Henderson.
I'm Todd, baggy latex suits Thomas.
I'm Matt. Andrew is a wet towel, Cole.
I'm Kyle. This bag is just full of GameCube controllers, Harper.
And we're saying thanks for debating with us. And if you disagree with our arguments and decisions, then we're challenging you to come fight us by the swing sets, nerds.